Good morning, everybody, and thank you for joining us here for another live broadcast. I'm Tony Jones, filling in for Phil today, who is sick. He's in the other room nursing a flu, so I'll be joining Michael Lunt as we talk about video media and his company Parasol. Parasol Media. So what I'm hoping to do, of course, so the folks that are watching can learn a little bit about you, but also your company and about video media and why it's so significant and how to distinguish themselves. So I'll let you do some of the talking here. Tell me, I mean, you have an interesting life. Anybody, as I said, who immigrates to the U.S. has led somewhat of an interesting life. So why don't you tell us how you started in the business and what brought you here to Columbus?
Okay, so I started video production maybe 13 years ago in Liverpool, England. And I started out actually as a makeup artist, doing special effects makeup. And I remember seeing Pirates of the Caribbean 2 and going, oh, I got to get out of this business now, because the incredible CGI makeup that they did, I was like, I've got to figure out what I'm going to do. And after moving, I'm working at Sony for a little bit, doing games production. I got into the video editing side of things for game trailers, and I was like, this is actually really kind of cool. I enjoy this. So I decided to go back to school, and I went to school in Liverpool and studied media production and took opportunities to do internships wherever I could. I actually ended up in Cannes at the Lion Festival, which is the advertising festival that takes place after the film festival, and worked for a week there, and got to meet some incredible people. Got to meet the producer of Avatar and Titanic, John Landau, and that was incredible. And then I came back and went to Maine for a summer to teach summer camp. And I was I was teaching archery, so stereotypical, that isn't it? A British guy in America teaching archery, a regular Robin Hood. And I met a girl there. It always ends with a girl, right? So her name is Stevie, and we decided after a year of being friends and both of us living here in the US and me in Britain, we decided to make a go of it as a relationship. And after we were married and things like that, I moved over here, and Columbus was just kind of the city that I just moved to straight away. We didn't live anywhere else. Stevie was working at Nationwide Children's Hospital, and was just starting her career path there. And I was like, okay, Columbus seems cool. It's interesting when you tell people in Britain, though, I'm going to move to America, and they're like, oh, where? LA, New York, because I'm doing video production. I'm like, no, Columbus, Ohio. And their response is, where? Now they all know, obviously, because they've been to visit, and they love it just as much as I do. But yeah, that's kind of how I ended up in the US. And
so about 4 years ago, right?
5 now.
5 years,
Yeah,
5.
Yeah.
Right. So, okay.
Yeah.
And so when did you start? Did you right away just continue on doing the media?
No, well, I worked for another company in town. I felt I needed to learn how American business was done. We speak the same language, but we are very different culturally. So I wanted to learn a lot about that. But I, at the time, quite honestly, never really had an intention of starting a company. I wanted to just make my way in Columbus as a video professional. And after a while, I loved the company I worked for, but I wanted to work with small businesses more. And I wanted to be more in control of the production from start to finish. So I left my job after a couple of years and started Parasol. So that's going on almost 3.5 years ago now.
Right. So is it you pretty much? I mean,
yeah.
Okay. So, all right. Well, one of the things I said I want to talk about is video media is becoming more and more significant. You lamented, right, that it's taking over a lot of reading, in fact, right? I mean, I like reading too, but I do like reading as just a means to learn something, so we can supplement that in many cases, make it more convenient with video. I was surprised to see how significant it is that individuals on social media watch like 90 minutes, right? According to your website, and I saw some other stats that reaffirm that. I mean, a lot of time is spent watching video today. And so, and it's not just about doing a video, it's, you gotta do it right.
Yep.
Right? I mean, so what have you learned? Like, what do people need to be thinking about when they're making a video to capture attention of somebody?
You have about 5 seconds to grab someone's attention. Otherwise, they're passively watching, which means they've got the video on, but they're doing something else.
Right.
To actually engage them, you have to grab them in about 5 seconds. And you have to really tailor the video for what it is what message it is you're trying to do. So if you make a video, think about, and anyone watching, think about when you look at a video. Like, okay, so you're searching through YouTube and you want to find a video on, well, name it. The first thing you'll instinctively do is see how long the video is. And that will determine whether you click play or not.
Yeah,
It's
right.
just, I don't know where this came from,
Right.
but I think it may have come from people wanting to cram as much as they could and watch as many videos as they could before their boss came in.
Yeah.
So they're looking for short, quick bursts of video content to consume.
Right.
So if you've got 2 videos to choose from, one, and they're both talking about the same topic, and one is 5 minutes and one is 2, you will click with the 2 first.
Yeah.
And then if you have time, you'll watch the 5. If you want to learn a little bit more, you think that video might contain something different. And so I think limiting the length is a key aspect of it.
Is there a time though? I mean, you say 5 and 2. I could see myself picking the 2. But what about 1 and 2? I mean, is there a limit where it's like people will say it's just I'll come back to it?
Yeah, well, so here's the thing, especially if it's a tutorial or if you're trying to gain some information, so say in your example, like, or for your business, for example, financial information, what can I really gain knowledge-wise in a minute? Probably that 2-minute one's probably gonna give me a little bit more.
Okay. Right.
So it really depends upon what that
Okay.
audience member's goal is when they're watching the video.
Okay. Yeah. Well, that makes sense.
Yeah.
So, I mean, some of the other things, I don't know if it's still true, but so many videos are being made now that YouTube, it's 2 of the stats I saw, YouTube goes up 100% a year in terms of how much content they're housing, how many videos are being made. And also, every 30-day period, we're making more videos than the 3 major networks have made in the last 30 years.
Yep.
Right? I mean, so it is really important to distinguish yourself. So there's time. I mean, is there anything else you're thinking about when you're, I know you are, but what's another key thing that people need to think about when they're making their videos? You asked the question to Phil before, like, hey, do we do these in the office? I mean, is that important? I mean, how much is the environment important where you're doing it?
It's important to a point. It's the environment that you film in is just as much of a character of the story that you're trying to tell as the people who are in it, as are the props and things like that. So where you place someone says a lot about who they are. And so I find that companies that try and push their content in areas where they don't really exist. So for example, you guys work in this space, you should show it. And you do, in the videos that you've produced in the past. There are companies that don't do that. They'll go and put their people on the bridge downtown, and this is Columbus, and that's great, and it does invoke a certain emotion. But when I come to your place of business, and it's all brand new, and I've never seen it before, there is a sense of unfamiliarity there that's going to cause some anxiety. It's just especially in like finance, it's like, okay, what's going to happen here? So it's your job. Well, it's my job as well as working with the client to make sure that the content that's created reflects the business as best we can, because you can't possibly have a face-to-face interaction with every single client. If you've got, 100 calls in one day, you can't meet all those people. You don't have the time.
Right.
Video can fill that gap,
Right.
and they can feel comfortable with you before they've even met you.
Right.
Then when they come in, hey, you're the guy I saw in that video, there's an instant connection there.
Right.
So
Well, it is funny. I mean, there's the hallway. Before a meeting, I may run down to the restroom, and they'll be coming through, and they'll know me. And
Right.
and they're familiar with me.
Right.
It's not just knowing. It's like, and they think we know each other, but I'm like,
yeah, it actually puts you at a disadvantage because they feel they know you more
well,
than you know them.
except for now, I'm cognizant of that I might see them and they know who I am. So,
Right,
so
right.
I am cognizant of that. So, well, that's great. So and I know there's a lot more to it. One other aspect of what you do is, born in England, you've been in different places, and so you have a reach that's not just here in Columbus or the
Right.
United States. So how is it that you deal with somebody, out of curiosity? Like you might have a company in Europe or something.
Yeah.
How are you working with them?
Well, so the furthest company I work with, one of my clients is in Hong Kong.
Okay.
And I do go out to Hong Kong. That's actually the picture that you guys put on the YouTube.
Okay, okay.
That's
That's
me in
you.
Hong Kong.
Okay.
And the way I work with them is there is a level of commitment that you've got to put in that is not the same here. In the sense that you're working at midnight because you need to make a call and you've got to talk to them, and whereas when you're in the continental United States, it's maybe a 3-hour difference.
Right.
There it's like 12
Right.
or 8 or whatever it is. I think it's 12 actually. So you are trying to catch them when they are at their desk,
Yeah.
and so you have to be very culturally aware as well.
Yeah.
When you go to these places, you need to understand, like, okay, well, how does their business ethic differ from us? I think the Americans are wonderful in terms of work ethic. You guys have got to drive like no other. Sometimes to a detriment.
I was going to say, you use the term wonderful.
Yeah.
I don't know if that's the right word.
Well, I just mean that you get things done.
Right.
But you go to other countries, and that's not the case. They work on their own time schedules, and you've got to adapt to that because you could get very frustrated very quickly.
Right.
But yeah, it's all about sitting down with them and understanding their needs, and then delivering it in their way.
Right.
Just being available to them. It's a two-way street, right? I'm making a commitment. If I didn't want the client in Hong Kong, I wouldn't have the client in Hong Kong. I would just be like, no, that's not for me.
Right.
But because I want to work with people in other countries, and I want to visit other areas, I want to make sure that I am, meeting them halfway.
Right. No, I got you. So, well, we are limited by time, so we can talk about this all day. But your website is a great resource for people to kind of see the work you've done and what you can do for them. So, why don't we go to that real quick?
Okay.
I'll let you drive it a little bit if
All
you
right.
just want to show people, a couple of the areas. on
Yeah,
here.
so this is new as of I think it's like 4 weeks ago now. What we try to do here is, let me just go back up to the top, is from the moment you come to the site, you understand that this is all it's a video resource, and you can come here to have content created that will engage your customers. And we've tried to build it in a curated fashion so that when you go through the site, it's taking you on a journey, and that we're trying to make you understand or help you understand, I should say, why video is important to your business, and then the fact that you can learn more, so you can go over to here and it will explain video production and what the advantages are, and there's a little story there that I want you to imagine when you buy a car. If both dealerships are offering you the exact same thing, how do you distinguish which one you're going to go with? Some statistics here about why video works, and then the types of different videos that we can do, from company overviews, brand spots, and explainer videos are popular now. If you've got a product coming out, talking about how that product works and how it can help your business. And event coverage, that's a huge one. We partner with a company called the Creative Grid, and we go to Barcelona, and we're going to LA later this year for these huge events with hundreds of thousands of people. And our job for 3 days is to shoot non-stop and almost kill ourselves doing it. But it's a great project to work on. And then you have custom videos, so making things not too dissimilar from this, like a setup, and helping companies create content internally.
Okay.
And then, you've got the About Us, which is the story of how we got started and what we believe. I started Parasol based on the premise that no small company should be left behind. Smaller organizations have the ability to be nimble and come up with really intuitive and inventive ways of changing people's processes, like what you guys do.
Right.
But when you're competing against larger organizations that got a lot more resources, how do you do that? Well,
right.
Video should be affordable and it should be achievable from all organizations. And one thing that, portfolio is obvious, I guess. It's just like our collection of videos,
right.
Things that we've done. There's the Hong Kong video that we produced when I was there, amidst other things. But this is something that I think is pretty unique, and that is that we're very open about how we work.
Mm-hmm.
And so this takes you on a journey of how production is done through our company,
Mm-hmm.
and kind of the steps that we go on, and then kind of how we look after you after the fact.
Mm-hmm.
I think people assume that, well, everyone knows how to upload a video to a platform now, YouTube, Vimeo. Well, some people don't, and I want to make sure that people are aware of how to do it, and if they don't, can we fill that gap for them?
Right.
Video that we produce it's no good to anyone if it's sitting on a shelf, right? Or on a hard drive somewhere. So our job is to get it out there for people to see.
Right. Okay. Well, and that's great, and it's a great resource. So openparasol.com. So go there and look at it, and Eileen's going to be posting your contact information as well. So I hope we can stress to people how important video media has become, and how much really your business needs to use it going forward. It's just what consumers do to consume information. So if you're not doing it, you're missing out on people. They're going to gloss over you. And I know, because we can see that people are watching the videos that we've put out there. So
as you said, people don't read now.
They don't read. They do what's easiest, right, when they have to. So,
but you think about how busy people are today, and we're just throwing more and more stuff at employees to get done. And when they need to learn something, they haven't got a chance to read through a 20-page document. Go on YouTube and find a video on how to do it, and then copy it.
Right.
That's basically how.
Well, and the other thing is, like you did, made some videos for companies. You could have more than one person watching the video, and they're getting the exact same message. And
exactly.
And you don't always get, it's like a text. Sometimes your message isn't delivered in just words, but obviously, if you could do it in a video message, it gets delivered more clearly. So
that emotion is key. As you said, like, how many times have you read a text message and misconstrued the actual message was? And we use video for everything, even FaceTime calls, Skype messages, things like that. It's everywhere, and people should be doing it for sure.
Well, thank you for coming in.
Of course,
It's been fun. So, all right. Well, again, we'll be back next week with somebody, and that will be Jim Catafino from Capital City Broker Group. He's going to talk about commercial real estate here in town, and just give you an update on what's going on, and as well as his business as well. But thank you for joining us, and we'll see you next week.